On this episode of MythBusters,
You want to do what? With what?
sit back for some retail relaxation as Adam and Jamie show you how to hunt for junk.
I love it here!
From domestic appliances to deadly creatures and even daring underwear.
At least it's sort of happy.
And the man behind the mask. Adam opens the door to his private collection of stuff.
Ow, 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 ow.
Welcome to the MythBusters Shopping Special.
Am I missing an eyebrow?
Adam Savage
I reject your reality and substitute my own.
and Jamie Heineman.
Quack, damn you.
I wouldn't say Jamie's an evil genius.
Between them, more than 30 years special effects experience.
When will the fun ever stop?
They don't just tell the myths, they put them to the test.
Airplane toilets,
Jado rockets,
inflatable bras,
pop rocks.
pigs that died of natural causes.
You know, we get emails every day from fans wanting to know where we shop for the strange and bizarre things that we use on MythBusters.
And on this episode, we're going to show you.
Welcome to the MythBusters Shop Till You Drop special.
Shopping can be a real chore, but the MythBusters shop with a style all their own. When your job is busting myths,
Dog with a very long tail.
a trip to the shops can be a ride into fantasy.
I come from the planet Butthead. Yeah. Oh, what is up? Peace to your mother.
When most people think shopping, they think mall. But Adam and Jamie are junkyard junkies.
We love shopping for industrial machinery, and that's why we come here.
To Machinery and Equipment Co. in Brisbane, California.
In their lot, you can find just about anything.
And we have.
Everything from small little funnels and tubes,
To gigantic tanks.
even if you don't always know where they've been.
Hey Adam, did you hear the guy tell us what this was for?
What was it for?
It was like fecal matter.
Cess tanks aside, scavenging through industrial graveyards is their idea of shopping heaven.
Cryo containers, beer kegs. What else we got?
You can keep your fancy fashion stores. These guys get turned on by tanks.
Wow. Can I just take this home?
Adam's a shopaholic with a difference, and his house is home to mountains of weird and wonderful paraphernalia.
This is the whole of storage. Ow, ow, ow. I don't know, for some reason I collect lots of headgear. The door viewer goggles. Turn of the century optician set. I bought it for myself for my birthday last year. Because I knew no one would know to get it for me. It's my cigarette dispenser. It plays How Dry I Am, and the bottle cap is a lighter. That's the enemy of slumber. All the artwork in my house is either mine or people that I know or family members. I like that. Oh, here's a piece I made for Jamie, actually. Extremely light radiator. I always want to, like, you know, when some salesperson comes to the door, I always want to be standing at the front door like, what? Like that. The weirdest object I have. It might actually be these. It might actually be these. I found them at a flea market, and the guy says, I'll sell these to you if you can tell me what they are. And I knew, and it turns out that they're Masonic initiation goggles. And he said, you're the first guy in 8 years that I've had these at my table to know what they are, and they're to have the mysteries revealed to you, I guess, at certain points during the initiation. That's plausibly one of the weirdest things that I have.
A favorite source of weirdness is Urban Ore, where the less orthodox shopper can mine a rich seam of esoterica.
I've been coming here for almost 15 years. They've got a little bit of everything. And that's what makes it perfect for MythBusters. I mean, they've got everything from equipment like tools to bathtubs, toilets, all of which we've bought for the show, all the way down to household appliances, which really can be among the most dangerous things. I mean, me and household appliances don't always get along.
Honey, I'm home.
For Adam and Jamie, there's no place like home. Mainly because so many urban myths feature domestic appliances. When the MythBusters go shopping for household goods, there's usually a disaster in store.
We're looking for a decapitating fan.
Okay.
Your deadliest fan.
Okay, that's usually not a popular choice by a lot of our customers, but we'll see what we can do.
Not many consumers buy with destruction in mind,
Do you think that this could hold 50 pounds of clothes?
but on this show, it's a shopping mantra.
We're looking for something in a trombone.
Okay, and like for a student,
Well, actually, we want to blow it up.
you want to blow it up.
Back at Urban Ore,
The thing I love about this place is that you got to keep coming back. They get new stuff all the time, and you got to crawl through it all. And there's one thing I really love to do. It's like crawl through a lot of junk. They've got pianos, couches, fake plants, clothing, cookware, books, camera equipment. But I found something over here that's like, it's hard for me to kind of pass up. Accordion carcasses. I mean, how cool is that? This is exactly what I'm talking about. This is called a microfractionator. I don't have any idea what that is. I'm secretly thrilled. There you go.
All right. Perfect. All right.
It's a stimulator. Of what kind? I can't quite figure out, but I'm thinking of trying it out on Jamie.
in the myth of the levitation machine, Adam and Jamie went bargain hunting at A&G Vacuum. Pete Anderson, aka the Vacuum Man, has been repairing these suckers for 30 years.
I fix 90% of the vacuums on the market, and you name it, I do it, you know. I can take them apart and put them back together in no time. Electricity, see if it works. Here we go.
Pete thought he'd seen it all. But he'd never had a customer quite like Adam.
You got his trunk bleeding.
Am I?
Yeah.
Oh, that was the stupidest thing I've ever done.
Well, they do say try before you buy.
That was the end of Adam's television career.
No. See, this is the show. It's like 4 minutes of science and then 10 minutes of me hurting myself.
They were so impressed by the power of Pete's machines, they bought half the shop.
This is not enough. Come back and get some more.
The episode ended in Adam's complete humiliation when he lost the levitation machine build-off.
I'm out of ideas. I just ran out, just a second.
We're here at Alameda Discount Center. It's one of our favorite places to go because Jamie and Adam can totally geek out. We're about to show you why.
What other store can you just go in and pick up a parachute? You know, if you're like a little nervous about flying, you could just kind of take that as carry-on the next time you go.
That's why, because it's a store full of surprises, and the unexpected is the cornerstone of the MythBusters shopping philosophy.
That is cool.
Especially for airgun battle.
You know, when we go out together, Jamie and I get recognized about twice as much as when I'm alone, because I might be that guy from that show, but he is without a doubt that guy from that show. And the reason is, everyone knows, the beret. And the real reason we've come here to Alameda Surplus is because this is where Jamie gets those berets. I think the question that everyone really wants to know is, why did you start wearing a beret?
It was kind of by default, because I don't like baseball caps, and I'm sure not going to wear one of those things.
So you just went to the beret?
Well, it's a nice, simple hat.
It's not necessarily such a simple explanation, is it? I mean, there are military connotations. I mean, it's definitely, you're making a statement.
It's a hat.
I don't think we've gotten to the root of it at all. I think there's something deeper and more, but we'll leave that for Barbara Walters.
The life of a TV celebrity. The fame. The fortune.
Vegas, baby!
The luxury car. And of course, the obligatory private jet. Though in the MythBusters case, it doesn't necessarily fly.
I'm in an airport salvage yard with huge husks of planes around me. I'm in pig heaven.
Mojave Airport is where America's airliners come to retire, or at least rest for a while, before going back into service. In the myth of explosive decompression, Adam and Jamie came shopping for a spare fuselage.
I've always wanted to close one of these.
For just $3,500, they became the proud owners of an Hawaiian Airlines DC-9.
When do you ever get to do this? This is so cool. Wow. Oh, that's cool. This is where the pilot sits. So many little doodads and gewgaws and doohickeys.
Aviation myths come in all shapes and sizes, and so do the spare parts on offer at Interface Aviation in Hollister, California. Its warehouse is a 3.5-acre treasure trove of used aircraft interiors. If it flew, you'll find it here. Everything from the stairway of a 747 to stainless steel toilets.
They've got every kind of toilet that's ever been made for any kind of aircraft, or so it would seem to me.
Yeah.
They were testing the myth about the woman who got sucked onto a toilet in midair and stayed stuck until the plane hit the runway.
The greater pressure inside would actually be trying to push her through the hole.
The myth called for a vacuum toilet, and they found the perfect unit. But at $9,000, it was a high price to pay for this tall story. So they just borrowed it.
Exposed butt cheek. There we go.
Adam was the sucker, or sucky, who took one for the team in the name of science.
Oh, that's significant. Oh my gosh. Oh wow, that was really significant.
I'm not sure what we proved here, but at least it's good television. Getting sucked out of that toilet is a perfect example of a strange part that we've got to find at a unique kind of place. Like here in Faith Aircraft in Sacramento, California, that's spelled F-A-E-T-H. One of the fringe benefits of working on this show is that it completely expands the number of places that I can find the esoteric and weird stuff that I seem to just have to collect. At these aircraft salvage yards, I've bought everything from little tiny switches to gauges to compasses to the pilot's seats. I've got them all in my house. One more thing about Faith Aircraft, bring cash. They don't take credit cards here, and that's actually to your advantage. It's usually easier to make a good deal with cash.
The last time Adam and Jamie were here, they bought a fuselage and extra windshields for just $324.25. Why? So they could fire dead chickens at it. What else?
We are arming the chicken cannon.
3, 2, 1.
The chickens flew, but the myth crashed when the guys realized that their windshields weren't Bird Strike certified.
Where's the chicken?
Dead chickens are cheap and cheery regulars on MythBusters. They starred once more in Microwave Madness.
This is right up there with one of the weirder things that we've had to do. Trying to put a dead chicken in a tanning booth. Hello?
They busted the myth that people can be cooked from the inside on a tanning bed. A good example of how dead animals can be used to test a human myth.
We can't test everything on ourselves, and meat has become more and more a part of the show. Everyone knows where to get chickens, but when we want to fire a machine gun into a full side of beef, or tattoo some pigskin, or even fill a stomach full of Pop Rocks and soda, we come to a place like Golden Gate Meats. They become one of our regular suppliers on the show. Have you supplied pigs for any other television shows besides ours?
Not to shoot. No.
What's the weirdest use you've ever had one of your pieces of meat put to?
I think you guys top out on that one.
That's what I like to hear.
In one myth, Golden Gate Meats supplied 4 whole pigs so the MythBusters could measure the kinetic energy of a speeding bullet. Wow. The pigs weighed in at a total of 670 pounds and cost $1,125. Gross.
Yes, perfect.
Really gross.
Now that people have seen the show, when we call them up and we say we're MythBusters and we want a side of beef, they know we're going to do something strange to it. But at first, we got a lot of very curious responses like, you want to do what? With what? I'm trying to locate a pig's stomach. A pig's stomach. Should we continue further? Probably one of the most difficult things we ever had to find was actually a full pig's stomach for Pop Rocks and soda.
They needed one to understudy for a human stomach.
Does it have like the esophagus and the intestines attached at all? It turns out that they prep them so fast out of the slaughterhouse that they're usually cut in half. In fact, the guy said to me that it was like a bathing cap. Like a swimming cap. A very, very meaty swimming cap. So we actually had to go all the way out to Modesto to find a place that would leave the esophageal tube and the intestinal tube attached so that we could actually get a real stomach in our test.
Well, I think we should just get a real pig and feed him. That'd be kind of fun to watch. See what a pig does when you feed him a bunch of this.
See, again, there goes your lack of political understanding. We could raise so much hell with that.
It's better to kill the pig first and then give it to him?
Absolutely.
Okay.
People are much more comfortable with that arrangement.
They finally found the guts to test the myth with 4 pig stomachs at $20 apiece.
It's actually becoming a reality.
Back at base, the guys had a gas making the belly burst.
Well, that's pretty impressive.
Oh, there goes a burp. Dude, your stomach's gonna burst.
That's huge. That's like 3 times the size of what it was.
Goodbye, Cair. Okay.
Oh! The other great thing about vendors like Golden Gate Meats is that we can send Cair. Her response is always going to make good television because she is visibly and clearly sickened by the entire process.
Whoa. Whoa.
Hey, look, it still has little hairs on it.
Oh, yeah.
Can't believe they got a spine with the meat on it. This is disgusting. I love that you love to bring me here.
It's always taking us past our point of comfort that makes the best television. You know, I'm not a vegetarian. I'm an omnivore. I eat lots of meat and love it. I don't have a problem with almost everything we do with meat. I didn't like cleaning up the stinky car. I mean, but that wasn't meat. That was more like a hairy, bony pudding, let's say.
The baking tin came in the shape of a second-hand Corvette, bought for $6,000 off an unsuspecting enthusiast. But as the money changed hands, he almost changed his mind.
Oh, really? You want to tell him?
Oh, we have, waiting eagerly for this car, a recently dead pig that we're going to put in there and let it sit for about maybe a month or 2. And I wondered what you feel about that.
Well, not real happy, tell you the truth. I mean, because it's a really nice car.
Not for long it wasn't. The guys wanted to see if they could leave a corpse to rot, clean the car, then resell it. Strictly speaking, they should have used dead humans, but they are notoriously difficult to buy, so they plumped for pigs.
We really wanted to find pigs that had died of natural causes. We didn't want to have to kill them for the show. And we had to go to some fairly specialized people in Hollywood who actually specifically deal in animals that died of natural causes.
Specifically, they headed for Bischoff's, taxidermists of stage and screen, where deceased animals of every stripe are stuffed and turned into stars.
Have our jaguars and our leopards here, and our whole bird area. Some of our favorite stuff is our stand-ins, like this little guy over here, one of our stars you might recognize from one of the movies. Our little pug. This was Men in Black 2.
In this case, Adam and Jamie were keen to interrupt the taxidermy process. The stinky car myth called for the whole hog.
We have scary for the whole pig. That means the guts, the animal, everything that a pig naturally dies with. Because as it turns out, it's not all that easy to get a hold of that through like a butcher or other things. We want to replicate what a human would be like if that person died in a car.
That's what they wanted.
Oh yeah.
And for $709.50, that's exactly what they got.
Stop. Oh man.
The two decomposed pigs had oozed into the very fabric of the vehicle.
Oh, it's disintegrating.
Now, Adam and Jamie had to remove the carnage and sell the car.
The smell from over here is horrifying.
The gruesome job tested the MythBusters to the limit, but after a day of forensic scrubbing, they were ready to re-enter the used car market. This time as sellers. The first two prospective buyers turned up their noses and turned down the stinky Corvette. But customer number 3 was made of stronger stuff, and remarkably, he handed over $2,000. Myth busted. Cars have always been a big favorite on MythBusters shopping lists, but they've never exactly been careful owners.
That was magnificent.
In Jet Taxi, they tested a myth from Rio de Janeiro that an airliner's jet wash could send a cab flying. So it was off to buy a used taxi at Big Dog City.
Is it okay if we drive it around the lot once?
Well, yeah, just don't leave the lot.
Okay.
It would be quite an elaborate way to steal a car, wouldn't it? Bring your own camera crew?
Yeah.
$900, not bad for a 3-year-old car.
Yeah.
$900 to destroy a car sounded like a bargain.
Hey, as long as the price is right, you guys can do anything you want.
Which is exactly what they did.
Attention everybody, we are ready to go.
The taxi didn't fly, but it was sent to the junkyard. So, all in all, a job well done.
Cars and car parts figure into a lot of our experiments. We love buying them, we love testing with them, and we really love destroying them. But the problem we have is, what do you do with a wrecked car? You don't want it. Definitely nobody else wants it. Well, that's why we come to a place like this, Circosta Metals. They recycle metal, and they're usually the final resting place of most of our automobile experiments. I love it here!
If you're ever here on business, be careful where you park.
So this one fellow would come in, he'd park the truck and have the crane operator unload the truck, and he'd walk away and start talking to someone,
No.
So one day he comes up to me, he says, listen, he says, what happened to the truck? What happened to the truck? I says, what are you talking about, what happened to the truck? He says, I parked the truck here. My truck's not here. Somebody stole the truck. Well, what happened is we bailed it because we thought it was a piece of junk,
This is a baler.
That's the baler?
Yeah, so what he'll do is he'll take about 3 or 4 of those grapple loads and throw it inside the baler. And it comes out as about a 2,200-pound block.
Wow. The very first car myth that MythBusters did was the JATO rocket on the Chevy Impala. And it was very specific, of 67 Chevy Impala. We didn't think it would be that hard to find, but in fact, it turned out to be very, very hard.
First up, a 67 Oldsmobile.
Car if you want a car to put a rocket on.
Oh, yeah.
A 62 T-Bird meant love at first sight.
I'll be kind of ashamed to destroy it.
We don't have to destroy it.
Adam was drooling all over the upholstery.
Oh my God, I'm loving this.
But they were Chevy shopping, so the search continued.
We went to every place in San Francisco. We eventually had to go about 100 miles out of San Francisco to find our Chevy Impala.
A 66. It was just 1 year off.
Oh, whoa, whoa.
And it came complete with sexed-up suspension. Adam and Jamie were sold.
This is without a doubt our car. It's destiny.
Here's a shopping tip. Always look under the hood before you buy the car.
We are 8.5 miles from where we bought the car.
Not exactly a perfect start to their car shopping career. But they bounced back in style. Back at base, the Chevy was fitted with radio control, souped up with a homemade JATO rocket, then blasted off across the Mojave Desert. Now that's retail therapy. The JATO rocket car was just the curtain raiser in a string of motor myths. In another auto escapade, Adam and Jamie set out to send a Plymouth sky high on a broken drive shaft. They found their car, but they needed to fit a specially modified drive shaft, one that would fail on demand. The guys went in search of drive shaft expertise at the imaginatively named Drive Shaft by Frank Wallace. This is Frank's nephew, Rick Brown.
Yeah.
Drive shafts are a family calling.
This is probably the only shop where a hard-working Joe can show up with his bent, broken, twisted, blown-up drive shaft and leave with a new, perfectly good, guaranteed drive shaft for less than a couple $100.
Well, I have never ever seen this many drive shafts in one place.
You probably never will.
Looks like if you put all these end to end, you could probably go from here to LA.
You know what? That's a great idea. I wonder if Guinness Book of World Records, most drive shafts ever laid end to end.
I guess it's good to have a specialty.
So, Rick, have you ever heard the myth about the drive shaft that falls out while the car is underway and it falls into a pothole and pole vaults the car way up in the air?
The pogo stick theory. Yeah, I have heard about it. I've heard of some cars being launched here and there, but I only know of one. My friend Bruce, hope he's seeing this, thought he was being chased late night on State Street in Santa Barbara. I guess he had already had a bad U-joint he knew about, and when he gassed it, it twisted, punched into the ground, and bent, and it didn't lift the car all the way up, but it just jockeyed him over, which of course ended his imaginary chase. Turns out he wasn't being chased. But anyway, you guys got a Plymouth, and we'll come over here to, this is all Dodge right here. I'm gonna go give it a measure. You can see we have them all measured. I gotta comb my hair. My chance at Hollywood. There's gonna be girls from here to here.
With Hollywood only a hairdo away, Rick showed the guys how to make a drive shaft fail.
Drop it back in gear. Boom! It's gonna hopefully do what you guys want. And I think for what you guys are trying to pull off, we can make this happen.
They left as satisfied as any drive shaft shoppers could be. But let's have another look at the myth. Adam and Jamie would need to be in the driving seat, but not in the car. So they looked to install a radio control system. They're the ultimate in accident protection, and they're surprisingly accessible.
We couldn't very well do a shopping special without coming to a hobby store. So we're here in San Antonio Hobby in Mountain View, California. This is one of the largest hobby shops in the area. And I come here in particular because I get a lot of radio control stuff here.
Even before MythBusters, Jamie was an RC pro, building rigs for commercials like the 7-Up Sharpshooter and the Nike motorbike shoe. San Antonio Hobby is an Aladdin's cave of high-tech toys, but it's not necessarily for youngsters.
Mark, I've seen quite a few kids running around here. What do you think your average age of a customer is?
Well, that's changed throughout the years. I suppose our average age of our customer in here is probably 50. We're kind of a big boys toy store.
Which means Jamie's right at home.
That's like some kind of a bug.
The components that make up the remote control system in a toy car or a chopper are small but highly sophisticated. and with a little tweaking from Adam and Jamie, can punch way beyond their weight.
The really cool thing about this is that the same controls that control something like this can control really big stuff.
Like a pole vaulting Plymouth, for example. Armed with various model receivers, servos, and speed controllers, plus a little modification, Adam and Jamie created Robocar. One second-hand Plymouth, some hobby shop electronica, and an old drive shaft. Myth plausible. The MythBusters pay no heed to the showbiz maxim about not working with animals or, well, animals at least. Not surprisingly, Jamie's favorite pet store in the Bay Area is also the weirdest, East Bay Vivarium.
Hi Carlos, I'm Jamie.
Nice to meet you, sir.
So you're the manager here at the East Bay Vivarium.
Indeed I am.
Well, it's pretty unique in the Bay Area for what it has. How would you describe this place?
Well, the store logo is the nation's oldest and largest retail reptile pet store.
Your motto ought to be the coolest pet store in the world. You've got some pretty wild stuff here.
Vivarium's mascot is Spot the monitor lizard, and he's quite a handful.
You might recognize him from a popular movie back in the 90s called The Freshman. Marlon Brando and Matthew Broderick.
Hey Spot, how's it going? Good boy.
You know, he's active, he's got bright eyes, he's really interested in the kids, and the tongue is always flicking, so good representative of his breed.
How's it going, Spot?
You haven't been rolling around in hamsters today, have you?
No.
Okay, you're fine.
As it turns out, a surprising amount of myths involve animals. And I guess I'd be a good choice as a mythbuster in that regard because I used to run a pet store, I grew up on a farm, and I actually like these guys. Believe it or not, I know how to handle them.
Animals are close to the MythBusters' hearts, especially as so many weird and wonderful myths feature feathered, slimy, and furry friends.
There's just no way that we could put a poodle in a microwave.
Does the Dane have to pee?
No, he just went.
Oh no. Now where's the likely tree? Any ideas where the most likely tree is? Hey Jamie, they're calling you.
They saw the mustache.
Yeah.
No animals have ever been mistreated in any way during the making of MythBusters. Although Adam's goldfish didn't exactly live the high life during their stay in the workshop.
Mine are eating their own poo.
The fish fiasco aside, it's usually Adam and Jamie who do the suffering when there's animals around.
You deserve it.
At Vivarium, Jamie's brushing up on his animal wrangling skills with a 200-pound Burmese python.
For holding her, just support the heaviest part of her body as best you can. Allow her to wrap and hold on to you.
And that's not easy, let me tell you. It's like trying to hold on to a bag of water, a really heavy bag of water.
Anytime you make a fast movement, she's going to react to you like a fast-moving prey item and throw coils around you, wrap you up, and constrict you.
Well, I don't exactly feel safe. In fact, I kind of feel like ducking right now.
Myths may come and go, but segues like that live forever. When the guys tested the myth that a duck's quack doesn't echo, the shopping list was simple. One quack. In other words, one duck. Adam and Jamie took a trip to Sonoma County Liberty Duck Farm, one of America's oldest.
Adam, don't let their looks deceive you. These are actually quite deadly.
It was a duck shopper's Shangri-La, but actually bagging a bargain proved problematic.
I'm gonna go in from this
side. All right, you
side.
go down that side. I'll walk them down this way.
Until finally they cornered a pair for $10 apiece.
That wasn't so bad, was it?
That wasn't so bad.
But predictably, when the time came for the ducks to perform, they had an attack of stage fright.
Quack, damn you.
Eventually, Adam and Jamie solved the problem. Like the MythBusters themselves,
oh, maybe bringing them together.
Ducks work best in pairs.
It's astonishing how well that works.
Oh, and by the way, a duck's quack does echo.
Well, I never, he's saying.
In another animal antic, the guys had to find out how to get rid of Oda's skunk. Simple enough, but where in the world of wildlife could they acquire a skunk's services? Easy. A quick phone call and 2 stunt skunks are on hire, courtesy of Critter Control.
Watch out, everyone, I've got a loaded skunk!
Oh, God.
The skunks came cheap, but Adam and Jamie couldn't get them to squirt for love or money.
Come on, left eye, bud.
Well, Jamie, once again, we've proved something radical on MythBusters, that skunks apparently don't spray and you can't them off.
The stage-struck skunks were retired from the screen. The myth was enveloped in the sour stench of failure, but some world-class shopping saved the day in the shape of synthetic skunk spray.
And it's not even out yet.
A bargain at $12 a vial.
Hey, come with me. I'm going to show you where to buy something that nearly all of you have asked me where to get. Come on.
In the myth of the airplane toilet stuck on you, Adam and Jamie consulted their myth-busting Bible, the Little Black Book.
Times, what did we say, 3 PSI.
3 PSI.
Fans emailed in wanting to know where they could buy this oracle of all things DIY. Perhaps not surprisingly, the answer is in major hardware stores, one of Adam's favorite shopping locations.
I can come to a hardware store every single day of the year. There's never not something that I need in one of these places. This is the Pocket Ref. It's got everything in it, not only conversion charts and other sort of things that you would expect. It also has zip codes for the entire country, mineral contents of various metals, and even what to do with a sucking chest wound. This is like absolutely should be in everybody's toolbox.
MythBusters shopping trips are nothing if not diverse. From a hardware store to a fetish shop may be a huge leap for mankind, but it's a small step for Adam and Jamie.
What do you think? Does it work? Could be fun. I always wanted to be a little taller. There's just something about a sheer fabric with feathers on the end of it.
Perhaps surprisingly, Foxy Lady is a regular MythBusters retailer, and Jamie seems to be as comfortable here as in a junkyard.
Often replicating urban legends can require that we get the exact thing that the original myth involved, and that can be virtually anything. The fact is that Adam and I are just as at home with a welder as we are with a sewing machine. And so, sometimes we have to go get a big chunk of steel. Sometimes we have to get something a little more kinky.
Like in the myth of running in the rain when latex jumpsuits were the order of the day.
Have you ever worn latex before? I've never worn latex before. Okay. I've heard it takes a lot of powder. How do you feel?
Feel kind of sexy.
From latex to lingerie, Adam and Jamie have shopped for the lot.
Should we get two? 2 of each?
Why do we need 2?
Well, 1 for each of us to wear. Oh man, these panties had no idea what they were in for. This is like where panties go when they've been very, very bad.
Rubbing ladies' panties on car upholstery may seem suspect.
It's like a sea of rubbing and vinyl and wet car seats. It's like high school.
But when it's to test the myth that static can cause gas station explosions, everyone can relax in the knowledge that the MythBusters are acting in the public interest. It's a case of if the myth fits, wear it.
Well, this is San Francisco after all. A lot of people watch this show. I'm sure some of them are going to be thinking about me wearing this particular piece of clothing item.
Oh, I'm sure they are.
And
I'd love
I'm going to put it away now.
I'd love to see it.
Jamie's recognizable by his regular uniform of white shirt and beret, but on occasion, he has let it all hang out.
At least it's sort of happy. Oh my God. You actually think you're going to see me get in these, do you?
I don't think. I'm quite convinced of it. There's no way you're going to be painted with gold paint and slap on a pair of tighty-whities and get on that treadmill. You look ridiculous. This way, the ridicule happens completely and naturally.
Well, thank you.
They were testing the James Bond myth that a covering of gold paint means curtains. So it was back to their favorite fashion outlet, S Leather, for a pot of liquid latex, which, unfortunately for Jamie, would not stick to anything hairy.
You're gonna have to shave every inch.
I know.
So a baby smooth Jamie was lacquered in latex, much to the delight of his myth-busting pals.
Go Adam.
I'm having so much fun. Oh yeah!
These things are they squeak when I walk.
Jamie donned his gold hot pants to cover what was left of his dignity, and every square inch of his skin was painted.
All right. So, careful about moving.
140 over 110.
So that means my blood pressure had elevated?
Yeah.
Suddenly, this myth seemed alarmingly plausible.
I mean, I think it's kind of dangerous myself.
Yeah.
My life signs are showing questionable numbers, as well as I certainly don't feel normal. I feel like I'm basically about to become ill.
Okay, that's just plain strange.
Well, that's where
that feels weird.
he would be contained the most.
It feels like I'm being skinned.
Ballistics gel dummies have been through hell and back on MythBusters, but without them, many urban legends would remain untested.
The most common question I get about MythBusters is, what is ballistics gel and where do I get it? Well, we're going to show you. Getting it is not that difficult. Sioux City, Iowa is the home of Gelita USA. It comes in a powdered form like this. Keeps forever. This is a 50-pound package and it's about $350. 50 pounds will make a lot of ballistics gelatin.
Ballistics gel is used to replicate human flesh, and it must be mixed just right.
Look at that. It's a thing of beauty.
Just like any other casting material, it works best if you add the powder to the water while you're mixing it. So slowly start to stir and add the powder.
The weight ratio is 10 parts hot water to 1 part powder.
Now, just like when you're mixing normal gelatin at home, you want all the gelatin granules to be dissolved in the water. Hot water helps speed up that process, and an automatic mixer we've found is completely necessary. You can't do this by hand. Here's one I prepared earlier. Okay. You'll notice it seems a little foamy. So the first additive you add is cinnamon leaf oil. It's amazing. It's an anti-foaming agent. It dissolves the bubbles, and it smells kind of nice too.
It does.
The key to good ballistics gel is keeping it cool.
What we usually do is we usually pack it in ice overnight or put it in a refrigerator in order to set it up. It's only ballistics gelatin if it's within a certain temperature range. This stuff melts under hot sunlight, and when they use it for calibrating weapons and ballistics and things like that, they actually can only use it within a certain range and for a certain period of time. Above that, it gets too soft and things will move too far through it. The last thing we're going to add to the ballistics gelatin is propionic acid. It is an acid, so you have to wear gloves when you're using it, but it will act as a preservative for the ballistics gel. Here you go. And that's how it's done. You don't have to email me anymore, because I'm not going to reply. I'm sorry.
The MythBusters world of retail spans the shopping spectrum.
Whoa.
Everything from freeze-dried moles to fire suits. But the nuts and bolts of busting myths can be found in places like Triangle Machinery, where all sorts of hardcore hardware and industrial gadgets can be bought off the shelf.
We often only have a few days to build something, and a lot of times by the time a normal engineer would get done drawing it on paper or in the computer, I've already got the damn thing built, because I can come here, just grab stuff off the shelves, start putting things together, get a feel for actually how they're going to work. It's a part of the process. This is my Tinker Toy set. Linear bearings. Here's a nice big laser. This would be something like a screw jack. This shaft goes up and down. I'll start to just assemble stuff, and pretty soon you've got a machine that actually works. You never know what we're gonna need on MythBusters. Sometimes it's weird plumbing, magnets, hinges. Sometimes it's little weird electronic stuff. Sometimes it's big stuff.
Occasionally, the guys have needed enormous and highly expensive machinery for their myths. To procure such budget busters, Adam and Jamie have had to raise their shopping game to dizzy heights. Finding a boom lift to make a human catapult is a pretty tall order, especially when you're looking for a freebie. But the MythBusters were up to the task.
I think this is great. This is like a, $50,000 machine or something brand new. And it works. It's everything we need. Who knows, with a little tweaking, it might be just a perfectly functional machine.
But some days you just can't give a boom lift away. Jamie decided that this one wasn't long enough, so they said thanks, but no thanks.
What are our other choices, and is there one with a longer boom on it?
The words gift horse and mouth come to mind, but amazingly, another bigger boom lift was just around the corner, and this one was free too.
Basically, this boom has reached the end of its boom lift life, so I'm not going to fix it.
I could see someone having a lot of fun with this and getting into trouble.
It'd be very dangerous very quick.
Just what the MythBusters like to hear. So John got himself a deal, and the guys got themselves a very big toy.
Guys, I think this one's it. That arm really sticks out there quite a ways. It's a heck of a lever.
3, 2, 1.
The myth ended perfectly. Buster got busted, and so did the boom lift.
I don't think we're going to be returning this lift.
That's why nobody hires out gear to the MythBusters. They know they'll never get it back in one piece. In fact, it's almost guaranteed to end up at the junkyard.
Hey! There it is!
Back at Sacosta Metals, Adam stumbles across a MythBusters relic.
It's like seeing an old friend. This is our cement truck. We used this in an experiment. See, we filled it with cement. We couldn't blow it up. These guys took it from us. This is great.
The myth entailed cleaning out a cement truck with dynamite. So rental was out of the question. But it didn't faze Ron Nunez of Pacific Cement.
So apparently you've got some cement mixers that we can have our way with?
Yeah, you got about 4 of them.
4?
Of them. I'll give you 4.
So
Put on at the end. Just walk down at the end, that'd be fine. I just purchased 11 brand new ones.
What does a new cement truck cost?
About $134,000 each.
Oh, that's all?
That's exactly $134,000 more than the guys had to spend on one. So, lucky they were free. It was like all the MythBusters Christmases come at once.
Have you noticed the nice seat?
The trucks had seen better days, but they were perfect for what the build team had in mind. And as things turned out, they used all 4 of them.
I don't like this one. I want to blow that one up.
Cleaning a cement truck's barrel using dynamite eventually proved feasible, but not as spectacular as they'd hoped.
Oh. If we don't blow up the truck, we're gonna have to drive it off a cliff or something.
So they took one last cement truck, a whole heap of explosive, and did what they love to do most to big, expensive things. They blew it up.
Piece of jump coming down, man.
Where'd it go? It's all gone. There's no more truck.
I left it right here. MythBusters 1, cement truck 0.
So there you have it, where we get our stuff.
Well, just a small taste, actually. There's a lot more places we really shop.
And remember, even though you see us do it, don't try it at home.